More on that. We're just over 60 days from the midterm elections now. Our coverage continues with a brand new Rasmussen poll that found that 65% of Americans don't think the country is heading in the right direction.
Joining us now to break it all down is pollster Jim McLaughlin and Associates in the 2020 Trump campaign, Jim McLaughlin. Jim, great to see you this morning.
Good morning. Great to be here.
Yeah, how's everything going? I hope you had a good Labor Day. Now it's like this officially starts the 8-week sprint to the midterms. I feel like the Tuesday after Labor Day. But I want to get your take on that poll. 65% of Americans think the country is going in the wrong direction. That's higher than it was a year ago. What does this mean when it comes to the midterms?
It means a lot of problems for the Democrats, because right now what we have in Washington, D.C. is one-party rule, and the American people know it. They control the presidency, they control, the House and the Senate. And when you have those significant problems that we have out there, mainly the economy, immigration, national security, we've got supply chain issues, et cetera. And one of the things that I'm seeing in a lot of the campaign polls is that, the Democrats are talking about how they have these leads in these Senate races. Well, the truth is, when you look at who the undecided voters are, those undecided voters significantly favor Republicans.
Right.
Why? Because of that number that you're just pointing to, Rob, where the vast majority of Americans say the country is off on the wrong track. Now it's going to be really important over the next couple weeks for Republican candidates to make that closing statement to those voters.
Yeah, they have to get the messaging right. Jim, President Biden spent much of his speech yesterday separating extreme MAGA Republicans from the, quote, mainstream GOP. So we keep hearing these negative takes on his speeches, on his tweets. A lot of other Democrats, in his party, are kind of distancing themselves from him. Is this a mistake? Because you just mentioned you have these independents, you have people that, are siding with Republicans. You've got this large silent majority out there.
Without a doubt, because these are real problems. Many of these problems, if a White House had them, just the one problem, they'd be in trouble. But the problem is this White House has multiple failures, and they're looking for solutions. They're not looking for name calling right now. And think about it. He ran talking about how he was going to unite Americans. The truth of the matter is, this is not what the American people want to hear. I think it shows his weakness with the voters, because really the only thing and the only benefit that it might become of this, maybe it rallies some left-wing Democrats out there.
Who are already going to vote blue anyway, right. Though. Right?
Exactly. And look, I get asked every day, why are they doing it? Have they resorted to these mean, nasty, negative attacks? And I said, because it shows the weakness of it. They're just trying to do it to motivate their radical left-wing base. And I think, look, they're going to have real problems, because I think you're going to have record turnout in these elections. And there's a lot of these swing voters, a lot of these moderates are looking, okay, who's going to make my life better?
Yeah. And Jim, there are so many other ways that he could handle that heckler. Instead of calling the guy an idiot and further alienating conservative voters, he could have did what George Bush did 2001, 9/11. Obviously, much different circumstances, but the line could work again. Say, listen, sir, I hear you, America hears you, and they're going to hear all of us come November the 8th. Just wiggle your way out of it. Instead, he called the guy an idiot, which is just is really beneath the presidency. I don't remember Donald Trump making that same assertion in a setting like that, calling somebody just blatantly an idiot. But again, it goes back to Joe Biden's cognitive state of mind. Where is this guy? Can Republicans turn the page and make it about failed Biden policies over the next 8 weeks? Can they do that?
And I think they've already been making the case. And one of the good things is, look, I saw some statistics the other day. Up to this point, the Republican campaigns have been outspent 5-1. That's the irony here, because the Democrats are the party of corporate America. They're the party of Wall Street, in spite of what Joe Biden's tweet might have said. And that financial advantage is going to close now that Labor Day has come. And a lot of these Republican campaigns have been waiting for the final push here. So I think what you're going to see is people are craving for issues. They're craving for solutions and ideas. And I think the Republicans are uniquely committed to do that. Folks like Newt Gingrich has laid out a great plan for his American majority. And I think you're seeing it. You talked about in the previous segment, candidates like Lee Zeldin right now.
Okay.
Lee Zeldin put out a plan last week of 10 ideas challenging Kathy Hochul. And I think you're going to see more of that.
Yeah, negative ads in Pennsylvania finally, a la John Fetterman from Dr. Oz. A lot of that coming over the next 8 weeks. Jim, we hope to see you and John a lot over the next 8 weeks. Jim McLaughlin, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Great to be here. Have a great week.
All right, you too.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. September is historically the worst performing month for the stock market, so you better be ready for it. The Fed continues to aggressively raise rates, and JP Morgan is forecasting another mega rate hike September the 21st. Is that why Jamie Dimon said an economic hurricane is coming our way? Well, gold and silver have remained remarkably stable despite the Fed aggressively raising rates today. The Patriot Gold Group has a special incentive for Newsmax viewers. Huge! Now precious metals investors can enjoy the no-fee for life gold and silver IRA on qualifying rollovers, or enjoy free, discreet, insured shipping on all direct gold and silver purchases. Here's the number, 800-356-4470. Call 800-356-4470 today.